Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Well, there is this concept of boil the milk. Now our movement is expanding and there's so much preaching going on, book distribution, and it's very nice all over the world. Things are happening. But Srila Prabhupada, besides preaching, Srila Prabhupada had some other instruction also, which probably we have lost down the line, and that's where there are we see so many other problems in our movement. So what was his instruction? Instruction was boil down the milk. This is, Prabhupada mentions this in 1972. He wrote a letter to Rupanuga Prabhu from Honolulu, and he wrote there, so I'm going to read that. Srila Prabhupada writes that Prabhupada said that don't send any more devotees until I hear that they are very much required. Rupanuga Prabhu, he was sending some devotees, some 30 men to India, and Prabhupada said don't send much because they are not properly engaged. The men already, they are being properly engaged and utilized nicely. Already there are people who are engaged. The new people who went, they are not engaged properly. And then Prabhupada writes, this is by the way 1972, it's not even 1976, it's 4 years before Prabhupada's departure. Prabhupada says, now I want that we shall concentrate on making our devotees Krishna consciousness. This is a very interesting statement. What was Prabhupada doing? Prabhupada was preaching Krishna consciousness. But Prabhupada is saying, now I want that we shall concentrate on making our devotees. If the devotees, then are they not Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious? Well, Prabhupada is saying we should concentrate on making our devotees Krishna conscious. That means Srila Prabhupada wanted his devotees to elevate, to go deeper in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada introduced them in Krishna consciousness, he initiated them and they became devotees, they were preaching, but Prabhupada wanted now them to elevate and advance in their consciousness, go deeper in the concept of Krishna. And then Prabhupada says, and concentrate on making our devotees Krishna consciousness and ourselves becoming Krishna consciousness. That's also interesting. Sometimes, often while preaching, we forget making ourselves Krishna consciousness, and Prabhupada noted this point, and Prabhupada said, well, movement is expanding, it's going nicely, now we have to focus on Krishna consciousness and not be so much concerned with expanding ourselves widely. Right, in 1972 Prabhupada said we should not concentrate on expanding widely, although I mean to say it was right through 67 to 72, this is like 5 years down the line, and movement was fairly established, and Prabhupada was saying we should not concentrate much on expanding ourselves widely, but without any spiritual content. Prabhupada is not saying we should not expand, but Prabhupada is saying we should not much concerned with expanding ourselves without any spiritual content. That was his contention in 72. After Prabhupada's departure, movement expanded, but we have seen that the spiritual content has gone down slowly day by day, and that's why we see so many wrong ideas within our movement and wrong philosophies and deviations and so many problems. Everybody knows the history. So Prabhupada continues, just like boiling the milk, it becomes thicker and sweeter. Now do like that, boil the milk. This was Prabhupada's instructions. Boil the milk, make it sweeter and thicker. Right in 72. If Prabhupada's statements holds true right in 72 when he was present, how much it holds true now after around 40 years of approximately 40 years of the movement and down the line, and it's really time to boil the milk now. If we don't do anything now, if we don't boil the milk, I think it will just evaporate and the vessel will become empty. We'll have vessels, we will have empty vessels, and they'll be so it is also said empty vessels make much noise, and that's the problem we are facing now. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.